Every government, no matter how big or small, eventually needs a checkup. Well, in Pakistan, there's a special unit that acts as a doctor for the bureaucracy itself. It's called the Management Services Wing, and we're going to dive deep into how it all works. It's the age-old question, right? How do you stop a government from getting bloated, slow, and just inefficient? What's the secret to keeping the massive machinery of the state actually running smoothly? Well, in Pakistan, the answer is the Management Services Wing, or MS-Sing for short. The best way to think about it is like this. They're the government's very own team of in-house management consultants. Their entire job is to analyze, diagnose, and then prescribe solutions to make the whole federal bureaucracy more efficient, more economical, and a whole lot more effective. All right, so let's really pull back the curtain on these government doctors. We're going to see exactly how they diagnose problems and what kind of treatments they offer to keep the entire system healthy and on track. Okay, this is where we translate the official government speak into plain English. When the MS Wing does an organizational review, they're asking a really basic but crucial question. Do we even need this department anymore? And a workload analysis? That's not just about looking busy. It's a super precise calculation to figure out if, say, a team of 10 people could easily do the work that 15 are currently doing. And rightsizing? That's the big one. It's their critical tool for stopping overexpansion and saving a whole lot of public money. So, you see, all these functions start to build into a much, much larger role. We're talking about actively designing and literally reshaping the government itself. This goes way beyond just making a few minor tweaks. We're talking about changing the fundamental architecture of the state. So, how does this actually play out in the real world? Let's walk through it. It usually starts with a call for help, maybe from a ministry or even from the Prime Minister's office. Then, the wing swoops in, conducts these super in-depth studies, and makes a formal recommendation. That could be anything from creating a new department, merging two old ones, or even getting rid of one entirely. But here's the crucial part. If a post gets eliminated, the employee isn't just kicked to the curb. They go into what's called a surplus pool, where they're managed and eventually move to another role somewhere else in the government. And to get all this done, the wing is set up, well, pretty much exactly like a professional consulting firm you'd find in the private sector. It's got 6 specialized units, and each one acts like its own dedicated project team, ready to tackle these huge government reform projects. This structure is what lets them handle multiple, really complex jobs all at the same time. But this organization, it didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's got a really interesting history, and it's evolved right alongside the country it serves. So the whole journey started way back in 1952 as this tiny little organization and methods unit. Its job was just basic efficiency. But as the government got bigger and more complex, so did the wing's mission. You can actually track its growing importance just by the name changes, from simply tweaking procedures to eventually shaping complex management strategies for the entire country. It's a fascinating evolution. And look, this isn't just some think tank writing reports that sit on a shelf. The wing has been at the absolute center of huge historical moments in Pakistan. For example, after the 18th Amendment, which shifted a ton of power to the provinces, it was the mess wing that was handed the monumental task of restructuring and handing over entire federal ministries. That's a huge deal. Okay, so that brings us to today. The world has obviously changed a ton, and the MS Wing has had to adapt right along with it, really focusing now on the totally new challenges of the 21st century. And this comparison really shows you everything you need to know about that evolution. Just look. Its original mandate from 1973 was super technical, right? It was all about specific management tools. But its modern vision, it's so much more aspirational. It's all about adapting to globalization, automation, and meeting the demands of citizens for good, modern governance. And it's not just talk. This vision is backed by some serious action. Just look at the kind of training they're offering civil servants these days. This is way beyond old school stuff. They're running workshops on using artificial intelligence in government, on the dynamics of change management, and on what modern leadership really means. It shows a direct commitment to upgrading the skills of the entire bureaucracy. And to really prove they're walking the walk, the wing itself is ISO 9001 certified. Now, for those who don't know, that's basically an international stamp of approval for quality management. It shows that they hold themselves to the exact same high standards they demand from everyone else. So after all that, let's get down to the bottom line. Why does this one, relatively small wing of the government actually matter so much? What is its real, tangible, on-the-ground impact?
You could argue that the wing's single greatest legacy, the thing that's had the biggest, most lasting impact, is this: the Manual of Secretariat Instructions. I mean, they literally wrote the rulebook for how the government works. This manual standardizes everything from how official letters are written to how records are kept. It's like the invisible architecture that allows the entire federal government to function from a single, unified playbook.
And this directive? Wow, this really says it all. The government explicitly tells all of its ministries to use the MS Wing's free services before they even think about hiring expensive outside consultants. This is huge. It positions the wing as the first and best option, and it's a powerful tool for saving taxpayer money. Ultimately, this is where it all comes together. The wing's work has massive, massive implications for the entire country. When it gives advice on right-sizing, it's not just moving boxes around on an org chart. It's directly influencing national economic policy. Its recommendations can help manage the country's fiscal deficit and decide the overall size and cost of the public sector. And those are decisions that affect every single citizen.
Which, of course, brings us to the final critical question. The mission of the Management Services Wing is just incredibly ambitious. So, is it even possible? Can one single organization, no matter how skilled or dedicated it is, truly keep the vast, complex machinery of an entire government efficient, responsive, and ready for the future?